Good evening. Welcome to the East Lyme Board of Finance regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, July 10th. The time is 5:32. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the approval of the June 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the June 12th, 2024 regular meeting.
Second.
Any discussion, any questions or issues with them? No? All those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Motion carries 4-0-0. Next is delegations, where any resident can speak to us on something that's on our agenda tonight. Seeing no one in the audience, I think we can move on to reports and go right to Mr. Cunningham, our first selectman.
Thank you. Not too much to report tonight, but I do have some very good news. Costco folded and they withdrew their appeal for the assessment. So that happened today, I believe. And so we're very relieved. That was the big one. We had two that were pending, and there's still a smaller one. But the greater impact would have been Costco. So they folded, and you really want to commend Diane in the assessor's office, and the attorney Mark. The both of them really had a great strategy in how they approached it, and I was impressed. So it worked out the way we had hoped, and so that one's behind us. The other thing I would mention, of course, we're all well aware we're having issues with chief of police, and that's being dealt with. I think it would be appropriate at some point when the board is ready, have a special meeting, or at the next meeting have executive session so that I could really explain some of the aspects that really fit under executive session. Those are the two big items that I have to report.
Great. Thank you. I know it's real busy in Niantic for the summer already, so
Yes,
things.
A lot of activity, and we're really happy to see the art show went well. A lot of people are coming into town. The restaurants are all busy, so we're very encouraged to see that, and things are really hopping right along.
Yeah.
Hopefully let's hope for a mild hurricane season. I don't know. There's a lot of the golf is pretty hot, and a little worried. But we'll see where we go. Got to make sure that seawall holds up.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Other than that,
Does anyone have any questions?
happy to answer.
Oh.
Not at this time, other than I guess we'll have to just discuss the police budget down the road sometime.
Yeah, so
How that's going to affect the year.
Yeah, it's going to impact us, and we have to discuss that. And so I don't know what part should be in an executive session and what shouldn't be, but let's ferret that out so we get it right. Violate any FOIA requirement.
So we can touch base on whether to do that as a special meeting or a...
That's right. Other than that, it's moving along.
Okay. So next, Mr. Gervais could not be with us this evening, so we've got Mitch here to walk us through the finance report.
So a quick overview. I'm going to go over some of the projects that we're working on right now in the finance department, as well as the revenues and expenditures with the recent fiscal year that just wrapped up. We have an update on our audit. Our fiscal 22 audit was completed, submitted, and is now with OPM logged into their system. And we are in the midst of working on our fiscal 23 audit. Fiscal 24 closed, like I said, we are hoping to get that closed out halfway through August, but I'll share a little bit more on that. And then a few other ongoing items Kevin wanted me to touch base with tonight. So first, the big project, we just went live with our new enterprise resource planning system, Munis. That's been a big project in the making. since I came on board about 9 months, 10 months ago, and even way before that. But so as of July 1st, we are now live in there, processing all of our accounts payable, all of our accounts receivable, doing the budgets, reporting, things like that. Future Munis projects, January 1, we're going to go live with their payroll module, and then next July, we'll go live with all the utility billing for the water and sewer department downstairs. And like I said, that's been a big deal. So the last month, Kevin and I have gone department by department, sat with basically everyone using the system, doing trainings, going out to their departments, walking them through processes. It's been extensive, and it's a lot better than what we were working with, so we're pretty excited for it. So the 2024 budget versus actual revenues, that is one of the handouts that you guys grabbed up front. That has all the revenue accounts for the year. Some key highlights, 86,041,000 was budgeted. The actual is 85 million. However, that is without the use of fund balance or the other transfers in. That being said, I think Kevin had mentioned it was about 2 million budgeted for use of fund balance. We're only going to need to use 1 million to close that difference, so that's a good thing. Some key points to point out: tax collections, we were budgeted at 68, the actual 69. We were over 100% on that, and that's because we used the 98.2% collection rate, but the actual rate was 99.1%, so we collected.
That's excellent.
Interest income was a huge significant difference, $1 million over what we had budgeted. That's because we put a majority of our investments into the state, the STIF accounts, and the rate on that was 5.4%. So we collected a good chunk of interest on all those investments. Conveyance taxes, that was another area that was big. We were up over 100,000 more than we had budgeted, and building permits, we were up almost 400,000 more than we had budgeted. So those are some of the big contributing factors as to where the revenues were coming from. Any questions on any of those guys? The 2024 expenses, we are still working through. Like I said, so our goal right now, we still have some open purchase orders we're processing for last year. The goal is to have all the POs closed by the end of July. Then by August 15th, we'll have all of our final invoices for fiscal 24 paid and wrapped up. We'll have it all closed out into August. So we'll be able to get you guys those final figures once all that's said and done. At that point, we'll also bring all that information over into Munis. And then Kevin mentioned we're projected to have a budget surplus on the expenditure side. So that's a good thing. Like I said, we'll get you a more firm number once we kind of sit through the year-end stuff a little bit.
And then Munis, going forward, would be producing all of these reports for us.
So everything fiscal 25, we've had everyone entering everything right into Munis now. No one's entering anything into MCSJ unless it was a last year invoice. So then, yeah, Munis will have everything moving forward. So as I had mentioned, our fiscal 22 audit was finalized, and it was uploaded to OPM's year system. That's the financial statements, the federal single audit, and the state single audit. 23, we're working on everything right now, balancing all the funds, reconciling, doing all that good stuff. And the auditors are actually coming out next week for their first field days, I believe Wednesday and Thursday, the way it falls. And then fiscal 24, we're just closing out all the purchase orders by the end of this month, and we'll have a list of final budget transfers by the first week in August for your meeting. The two ongoing things Kevin wanted to bring up was the Coastal Resiliency Fund. Been working between various departments. Obviously, all the reference materials that are needed have been identified. The next step is really just kind of drafting an ordinance. And then the Capital Committee, he had the intern present to the Board of Selectmen, kind of looked at what other towns are doing as far as capital committees go, and then just kind of balancing, what we can afford over the next 5 to 10 years and what we actually need. And then just kind of developing an operating plan based around that. Any questions on any of that stuff?
Meeting, so.
I can just comment.
Yeah.
Thank you. What we're seeing here is really an overlay of strategic plan. We're really starting to try to implement more and more throughout our policies, finances, and you're starting to see some of the results of it. The surpluses and it's a little rosier picture than we had anticipated. We're hoping by further enhancing the accounting software and these committees, we'll just continue to move in that direction. So I'm very encouraged.
Yeah, a lot of positive developments.
I think so.
Moving forward,
Yeah.
definitely.
questions for me? Nice job, thank you.
You know, if I can just revisit the
Sure.
first selectmen's report, there were a couple items. One of the things we did, it's not a big deal, but I think it was in retrospect. We had a little luncheon for all the employees on July 3rd. And it was Sandy's idea, and I went with it, and, you know, we had it right here, invited everybody, and we got a lot of good feedback. People really enjoyed the camaraderie, and I think it's that, you know, and one of the things I've said before, culture change is very important, and the more we can do things to accomplish that, higher productivity, the nicer place it is to work, so that was a real success, and I want to thank Sandy on the record for coming up with the idea, and we got a lot of good vibe. So just wanted to mention that.
That's, I know we would always have company outings where I worked in it.
Yeah.
A lot of team building. And that,
Makes a difference.
yeah, it does.
So the more, can't do it every day, but, you know, a couple times a year, if we can do something, makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the agenda is new business, the review and approval of the fiscal year 2022 audited financial statements, state single audit, and federal single audit. We all received these a week or so ago, and as Mitch said, they have been delivered to OPM, signed by, and so just looking for an approval, a motion to approve the acceptance of.
I'll move to approve the independent auditors report for the fiscal year ended, was it June 30th, 2022? Which includes the audited financial statements, the state single audit, and the federal single audit.
Second.
Any discussion? I just say I'm very happy that they were filed, and
Well, the only comment is on the management letter was really the tardiness in it, but we've been dealing with that for quite a while, and you know that's changing moving
Yeah,
forward,
we
so
wanted
that's,
to note that we are working on the 23 one right now.
Yeah.
24, we are hoping to be on schedule to get that filed in line with the timing and the deadlines and everything, and get it all back up on schedule.
I know a lot of other municipalities have longer management reports, so
Yes.
it's nice to see
Yeah.
very little comment.
Yeah, if I may comment, you know, I sat in, I was in the meetings with the state of Connecticut, and as we went through the final couple of months of getting this thing out the door, and, you know, I think they were impressed with the fact that we met our, we had extended a couple of weeks here and there, but we really largely, we met our commitments, our deadlines that we set for ourselves, and I think they were quite impressed with the finance department, Kevin and Mitch, and the other team, others on the team that really got this out the door. So that gives us credibility moving on to 23 and 24. I think they respect the fact that we're getting the job done, and there's a new way, there's a new sheriff in town, and they see it. So I'm happy to report that.
me too.
I'm sure.
Okay, and then next is the appointment.
Vote.
Oh, that's right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Motion carries 400. Then next, the appointment of the auditor for fiscal year 2024. So we have here the audit services quote for $84,000. This is the same auditor that we have been using, Clifton Larson Allen LLP. Technically, I think as long as we are using the same one as the previous year, we don't have to go through the process of approving them again, since it's a continuation. But I think just for the record, you know, and for minutes going forward.
At least for the amount, because the amount changes every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Second, okay, move to approve the appointment of CLA as our auditor for audited financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2024, in the amount of $84,000.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion, questions?
I think just for our viewers and general population, if they understand that, as in the past, the Board of Education also contributes to this. So the 84,000, even though it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, it's
Covering
not
the
as
whole
bad
town.
to the town side as what 84,000 alone would seem.
The water and sewer department also pick up a portion
Yeah.
as well. So.
Good point. All right, so the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries 400. Next is public discussion. Again, we have no public here. Any board comments?
I've got some.
Sure.
I like to pass out kudos when they're deserved, and I attended the high school graduation. It was a very moving graduation in that they had an empty seat for Maddie Garai, who had passed away from cancer years ago. It's nice that that spirit could be continued through with her graduating class, and that she and her family were recognized. It was also very nice to hear the financial awards that were given to students and the number of students receiving those. One thing that I missed from past graduations was that you didn't know who got what awards, and what some of the sponsors were. But that's negligible in comparison to the fact that we have students that achieve greatly and are rewarded for their achievements, and it will help with their post-secondary education. And then just touching on schools, it was hard not to notice from when my son had graduated in 2005 to this year's class. The class was much smaller. And so it got me looking at enrollment from what I could find on the state site was in 2007, 2008, there was an enrollment of 3,200, approximately 3,200 students in the district. In the year 2022, we had 2,600 students. So that's a loss of 600 students. Percentage-wise, it's actually a sizable chunk.
And I think they're forecasting dropping 50 students a year for the next 3 years in their own projections.
Yeah, I'd be careful with the projections because we have these different developments occurring in town, and some of them, even though they state initially won't be putting kids into the school system, some just might be doing that. But yeah, if it's still a continued downward trend, I would like our board to kind of look at things at budget time and try to consider the school population versus the funding to try to keep everything in line. I know services and special ed have increased, and so there are increased costs with that, but just that we be prudent. And I know that the superintendent, the presentations to our board have not occurred on a monthly basis, that we decided the quarterly reports would be fine. And I don't know if they were supposed to be in person or just submitted paperwork-wise.
It's just submitted paperwork to the Board of Selectmen and to the Finance Department, who'll then pass it on to us.
Oh, okay. One thing that I would like is for our superintendent to perhaps present in person some measures of achievement, because when we had the public meeting at the high school, there were some mentions of accountability for the budget that's given to the schools, and particularly if one looks at the individual growth index to see that it's more than just an amalgamation of that grade scores or something like that, but it's actually a measure using the student themselves as a control to see that there was growth for that student.
And I did ask the superintendent about that, and he said that they typically do that in their fall meeting, and what he would, rather than giving the presentation twice, if we could either attend that or tune in online.
Oh, okay. It was just my recollection that in the past we had that part of the budget preparations, that there was some indication of scores. But either way, it'd be nice to see some of these indicators to know that our money is being well spent. And then back to the kudos aspect again. It's nice that there's a new sheriff in town in the finance department. I think there's a lot of good deputies as well. And it's nice to meet you, Mitch. It's nice to know that Kevin's not standing out on an island by himself, that he's got very capable hands joining him there.
You do, but you're a big part of it.
And
It gives me great comfort, because it's good to know we got good backups.
And the news of the audits, it's very, very refreshing, because we did have some fairly serious deficiencies in the not too recent past, and it sounds like we're going to be making clean sweeps of things. So sorry for being long-winded, but again, hats off to the finance department.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Anyone have any other comments they want to share? Hmm? I have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 400. Thank you.